Hello, I'm Rasundo, and this is the chapter summary number 6 that covers chapters 9 and 10 in the book. Chapter 9 is titled The Law of Contracts and Sales 1, while chapter 10 is The Law of Contracts and Sales number 2. Some of the items I'll be discussing from the chapters are what a contract is, sources of contract law, classifications of contract law, elements of a legal contract, methods of discharging a contract, and remedies for a breach of contract. Okay, so we first have a contract, and as most of you know, a contract is a legally binding agreement. The definition, or it's defined in the book as a legally enforceable exchange of promises or an exchange of a promise for an act. So common contracts we see today are those like we may sign a contract that says for cable that we have to pay our bill every month, and the cable provider has our or gives us cable or Wi-Fi or whatever the bill or whatever the agreement is, or it could be between a construction company and someone who needs a house built. Just it's any agreement between two parties. We see contract. And next are the sources of contract law. Or hold on, before that we have because of contract law, when we enter into these agreements with other parties, whatever is promised within that contract will come. We know that we know that when we enter into a contract with somebody, whatever is promised in that contract will come, otherwise legal actions can be taken. That leads right into the sources of contract law. Contract law can be found in case law or statutory law within state and federal courts. Case law governs contracts dealing with real property, personal property, services, and employment contracts, while statutory law generally governs contracts that have to do with the sale of goods. While those are known as the sources of contract law, there are also classifications for each type of contract, such as an express contract, which contains a written or oral promise between parties. And on the flip side of express contract, there are implied contracts. And what happens in implied contracts is the two parties establish implied contracts are established by the conduct between two parties rather than written or spoken words. Other types of classifications of contracts include unilateral, bilateral, void, voidable, and valid, as well as executed and executed contracts. Each of these types of contracts are used depending on the type of agreement parties are trying to reach. And when it comes to the validity of a contract, it must contain 6 key elements in order to make it a legal contract. So in order for a contract to become legal, it must contain a legal offer, legal acceptance, consideration, genuine assent, competent parties, so both parties must be competent, and a legal object. And as long as a contract has those 6 elements, it is a legally binding agreement. This is my chapter summary number 6.